to hear you clapping.
Gentlemen, you don't have enough talent to win on talent alone.
Hello and welcome to the Talent Podcast, the podcast brought to you by The Wheel. I am your host, Adam Hess, and with me, as always, he can't spell American. It's Mike Regan. Mike, how you doing today?
A-M-E-R Trump A-Q pi sign tilde Z.
I like that. I like you threw a tilde in there. You know, because our American is multicultural. You know,
we are. We're a melting pot. Gotta put a tilde in there.
You gotta put a tilde. We got an umlaut. Roman Polanski's in there somewhere. We're very multicultural. Yeah, you got a little bit of Chinatown in there. You know.
Yeah.
How you doing, Mike? You want to know why
great.
I made that?
Super excited.
Have you seen this Jeep commercial that's been airing constantly recently about the Jeep Make This the Year event?
Vaguely.
Yeah. So
sounds familiar.
The intro to the ad is, "You can't spell American without I can." And
we talked about this, yeah.
Yeah, you can make this the year event. And I'm like, that's got to be the single worst name for a promotional event. The Make This the Year event.
The commercial during the NBA playoffs that just still lives in my head is whatever that drug commercial is, or that weight loss drug. I won't go into why it still stands out because I don't want to be offensive. But
was it Wegovy? I
think it was Wegovy. That sounds right. Yeah. And they're like, you can lose 5 pounds and look the same.
It's all
weird.
Weight.
Okay.
That's what you don't understand about Wegovy. You lose 30% of your kidney.
It shrivels up your liver. Yeah. You only need one after all.
Well, you only have one liver.
Right, I was talking about you said kidney.
Yeah, see, we really got our streams crossed there. If we were in Ghostbusters, everyone would yell not to do the thing, and then we'd do the thing and it'd save the world.
We'd do it, yeah.
What's the deal with that? What happens, like, if they cross their streams, they're like, it could destroy everything, or it could make you powerful enough to catch one ghost.
Well, I mean, from a scientific standpoint, you have to understand that there are certain protons, electrons, and neutrons, Jimmy neutrons to be exact. And once those collide, it causes a schism, is the scientific term, a schism. And once that splits open, we're all fucked.
When's the time you watched Ghostbusters?
Who are you going to call?
Do you think you'll ever watch Ghostbusters again?
I don't watch it because the song says, "Who are you going to call?" Ghostbusters, and I get very angry because I'm like, I don't have the number. I can't call them. I don't have the number.
HOSTBUS. Yeah, that's way more than 10 digits. I thought maybe their phone number was just Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I went to Yellow Pages, and they're not listed. I don't know how to call them.
Well, that's about all the time we got for bits, Mike. That's about all the time we got for bits. Because you see, here's the thing,
Mike.
That was
bit time.
You're the college football guy here at Town Alone. I would say your corner's college football, and mine is everything else. And I have to teach you in little breadcrumbs about all the other things in the world. Which is very frustrating for me because every week we get on this podcast and you're really confused about why the hockey players have sticks. So
I've been a hockey fan twice as long as you have. How dare you?
I'm glad you've been a hockey fan 2 years. I'm glad you came
3 times, 8 times.
You came ready to talk about the only thing you know anything about, which is college football. So, Mike, since I don't know anything about college football, I decided to ask you 26 questions for the NCAA season. Because it's the 2026 NHL and NCAA. Man, you want to start this one over? I'm gonna take some of my coffee. How about that? Let's take some of my coffee.
That's all right. We'll do a fake start over. Just do a static noise and then we'll go.
Like Static X, or you listen to them?
No.
Anyways, Mike, we can't fuck around talking about early 2000s new metal because we have 26 questions to answer, and that means to keep this podcast at a reasonable duration, you have to average less than 3 minutes per question.
Okay. There's only one question that I might go, I'll be like, I might have to make up time later on for that one.
Mm-hmm. Is it Ole Miss or LSU? Is that the question?
That's literally the first. It's literally like the first question, first 2 questions.
So, Mike, I broke these down into 3 categories. We have business, the college football season, and the NFL draft. So we're going to start with business. Because that's the thing about business, Mike. You always start with business, and then you get to move to pleasure. So, Mike, we're going to go through these questions one at a time. And, just have a good time with it. You got a little liquid death there? What is that?
The Dr. Death.
Pepper? Yeah. Dr. Pepper?
Yeah.
Dr. Kevorkian?
Adam, it tastes just like Dr. Pepper, but it's water.
Filled to the brim with carcinogens.
I love those carcinogens.
That's why they call it Dr. Death. Mike, let's start here. Does the Brendan Sorsby situation actually change anything, or is it a one-off?
It almost changed a lot in the negative way, and that's why everybody was so angry, because it's like, all right, we set a precedent that you can do you can break some of like the biggest don't break rules in college football, but then just find a favorable judge in the city that the college is in, and you'll be all right. You can get your injunction, you can play. And that's why everybody was pissed off about it. It had nothing to do with Texas Tech. They made themselves the victim. And I'll talk about that more in the next question. But it almost changed a lot. On the other side, I think it was a win for like Brett Yormark, the commissioner of the Big 12, for the way he like immediately jumped in, was talking to presidents, athletic directors who were set to meet to come up with possible sanctions. Because at that point, like, yeah, the NCAA could appeal. They have a losing record in appealing these injunctions. It's very hard for them to win. So then it kind of came down to like, all right, it's up to you guys to do something. And the funniest part about this is before they could even try to throw out any sanctions, which the two big ones people were talking about were if you play Brendan Sorsby, you're ineligible for the Big 12 championship game. And two, they control the purse strings, so they could hit them with financial penalties, not give them money, etc. Before they even did this, Texas Tech lawyered up. Interestingly enough, one of their lawyers who was consulting with them was Jeffrey Kessler, who was the lawyer for Brendan Sorsby's lawsuit. But no, Texas Tech, they didn't fund any of it, any of Sorsby's lawsuit. That didn't happen. And they were like, "Hey, we're prepared to go." And then the Attorney General, last name Paxton, I believe it's Ken Paxton, of Texas, sent a letter to the Big 12 and was like, "Hey, you even try to put any sanctions towards Texas Tech, we're taking you to court." And the funny thing is, that's where they fucked up. Because once they did that, the Big 12 turned around and they were like, they filed suit. And they went to a federal court. And we're like, hey, they're not going to let us, like, look at our bylaws. It says that we're allowed to, like, punish or put sanctions on schools if they do anything that could, like, be detrimental to the conference or, like, the game. They're not going to let us do it. And so once they filed that lawsuit, that's when Texas Tech got together and they were like, Brendan, the juice may not be worth the squeeze here. So they were, what is the term? Hoisted or foisted by their own petard, would you say?
Hoisted. Don't make
Hoisted
the joke from the first episode of Veep.
Okay.
Can I interrupt here real quick just to say, if you don't know what we're talking about, first off,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm glad to see that you survived your coma. Obviously, that's a very tragic thing to happen to you, to be in a coma for the last 4.5 months. But if you want to know more about the Brendan Sorsby situation, Google it. It was all over the news, and if you have no idea what we're talking about, there's no way we can catch you up in an 1.5-hour podcast where we have 25 other questions to answer.
TLDR, Brendan Sorsby got caught for a crazy amount of gambling. Most importantly, while he was at Indiana, he was gambling on his own team.
And it all went well from there. And now he's going to be a Steeler?
We'll see.
Yeah. Mike, any more on this question, or can we move on to the next one?
We can move on to the next one.
Next question, still about the Sorsby situation, or the Sorsbisation, as we call it in these parts. Mm-hmm. How much did this entire mess hurt Texas Tech?
On the field, really not too much, because even when it looked like Sorsby was going to be ineligible, it didn't. They were still the favorite to win the Big 12. They have still a very good roster all around. They have a very easy schedule. Even by Big 12 standards, it's even easier than that. And they have Will Hammond, who's a good quarterback. He's just probably going to miss the first 2 weeks when they play cupcake games while he finishes rehabbing from his ACL tear. Optically, it hurt them really bad because they had some of the worst PR strategy I've ever seen. Like you hit it on the head where you're like, just don't say anything.
Yep,
they couldn't do that.
I do want to real quick just plug our first sponsor this week, which is the Hess Regan public relations firm. We can be bought on retainer for the low price of $100,000 per year. All of that money will go back into reminding your programs that when you have a major PR disaster, simply say nothing.
Yeah. And they wouldn't do that. And multiple people, the athletic director for the school, the head coach, Joey McGuire, and obviously the big booster and member of their athletic.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
The head coach at Texas Tech, who tried to bring on the guy who was gambling constantly. His name's Joey McGuire.
Yeah, isn't it? I have a.
Did he ever yell,
misspoke?
"Show me the money" to Brendan Sorsby?
Did I mess his name up?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's Joey McGuire. Okay, I didn't. Yeah, it is Joey McGuire. You made me think I was crazy. Not Jerry, Adam. Joey.
I never thought to look into the coach of Texas Tech. I didn't know how that would be super relevant to the research here, but go watch Jerry Maguire. That's our second ad read this week. Jerry Maguire, the 1988 Tom Cruise film or whatever.
And then obviously Cody Campbell, the oil man, their massive booster, who's also on the board as a chairman on their athletic board. All their statements were extremely tone deaf and like missing the point. I think intentionally missing the point. People just wanted him to say, hey, Sorsby is ruled eligible, but we're still not going to play him. They refused to say that. Why? Because they were going to play him. They didn't give a shit. Instead, they played the martyr. They're like, we're just supporting an athlete who has an addiction and is seeking help for his addiction. And people were like, okay, you can support his treatment and his recovery without playing him. And they refused. You had the great quote by by McGuire when he was talking. He was like, it's not like he killed somebody or beat on someone. It's like, you're missing the point. Cody Campbell says in that interview where he's like, if this was LSU, no one would care. They're just mad because Texas Tech's not supposed to be part of the club. Once again, no one has a problem. They kept acting like people were coming after Texas Tech, like they did something wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You have the power to say we're not going to play him because that sets an extremely dangerous precedent going forward, and you won't do it. And so
you said Texas Tech didn't do anything wrong. I would say part of the place where they went exceptionally poor here is when they kept suing people to have Brendan Sorsby allowed, or threatening to sue people to have Brendan Sorsby allowed to play football.
As their AD said, Brendan Sorsby filed a lawsuit. We did not file it, and we did not fund it at all. That is what they claim. I don't believe it personally, but that's what they say. And so optically, they just look really bad about the whole thing. It was until Yormark kind of had him by the balls with the whatever you want to call it, his Queen's Gambit move or whatever, that put him in checkmate, that they finally said, all right, we can't go through with this. And
the Queen's Gambit isn't a move, though. That's kind of the problem there.
That's an opening. Good point.
It's an opening.
Yeah. So they don't look good. And also, I think Cody Campbell, if anything, took the most of a optical hit because he's supposed to be Mr. You got to save college football. Yet you are going to be okay with playing a player who bet on his own team. And it would set a precedent that players can do anything. And as long as they find a favorable judge who will play ball, they can get away with it. So save me your what do I want to say? Your virtue signaling and all your bullshit, Cody Campbell, because now it sounds like you're part of the problem. And people in the Big 12 didn't like them because they had financial backing no one else in the Big 12 had. And it felt like they were using it to basically just pay to grab players so other schools couldn't have them, or up the price to ridiculous amounts, kind of when you're in an auction, you have no intent of actually buying the thing, but you just bring it to like a crazy amount and then all of a sudden go, okay, that guy can have them. And they're like, wow, I just spent way too much money. They were doing shit like that. And people already didn't like Texas Tech because of that. And this just goes even farther. When the AD talked, when he posted his written statement, reading it, I was like, this sounds like a guy who knows they're kind of not going about this the right way. But if he doesn't stay on board and follow the talking points, he's going to lose a lot of money. And if anything, he's going to lose his job because the school is going to side with Cody Campbell and his oil money before they side with that AD. So he had to play along.
Do we know Cody Campbell's son's name?
I think it's just Campbell's Soup.
It's not H.G. Campbell by any chance? Or H.W. Campbell?
Yeah. I'm an older man. This is my son, H.W. Campbell.
He also grew up in Indiana.
Yeah. And then we can move on. But the worst thing they did was they at one point posted this 18-minute video with all these figures from their athletic program explaining the situation. And it was terrible. It was tone deaf once again, and just dumb. And the best thing was TCU's Twitter account posted a picture, and it said, "Too long, not going to watch that. But congratulations, I'm really happy for you. Or sorry that happened to you."
But has this, like, you know what that reminds me of, actually, now that you say that? You remember when Kevin Spacey did the video where he was Frank Underwood? Because he was trying to get his job back on House of Cards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But does this hurt the on-the-field product for Texas Tech in any measurable way in the future? Like, is this going to hurt their ability to recruit or draw people in the transfer portal?
No, I don't think so. They still have the money. I think they'll be fine from that standpoint. With Will Hammond starting at QB, most likely at week 3, which is the same week Sorsby would have been eligible again after serving that 2-game suspension. Their floor is the same. You could say that with Sorsby at QB, the ceiling would have been higher than it will be with Hammond, but their floor is still the same. They're still favorite to win the Big 12 and make the playoff.
Excellent. I'm sure that'll have no repercussions in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, closing out this business, what is the Protect College Sports Act?
Ah, yes. Well, you see, did you ever watch Schoolhouse Rock?
Uh-huh.
It's just a bell sitting on
that Frank Underwood?
Capitol Hill. Yeah. It is a legislation brought forward bipartisan by Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell to address a lot of the issues in college sports, because college sports apparently is so inept at fixing problems themselves that American lawmakers who are looking to not deal with real problems are like, oh, we got to focus on college sports. We got to save this. So they swooped in and do that.
Let me bundle my next question in here, too. Is this something that I should care about at all? Should I be paying any attention to the Protect College Sports Act, or does it actually effectively do nothing?
So I'd keep tabs on it, because there's a lot of stuff in there that would have an impact. What's been dubbed, it's not in the bill as this, but it's been dubbed the Lane Kiffin rule. Basically saying, after the regular season, during the postseason and the playoffs, schools and coaches can't communicate about them jumping ship, which is something that I don't think will hold up. That's going to be a tough one, I think, to get pushed through. Transfer rules would be a big thing in it. One-time free transfer. You still get the free transfer if your coach leaves. Other than that, you're going to have to sit out a year. That's another thing where I could see it just takes one judge who decides, or one lawyer who has the guts to say, hey, we're taking this to court because we don't think that's fair. There's a lot of stuff in it like that. Certain provisions that make conference realignment harder, makes it harder if the scenario a lot of people predict is going to happen of the Big 12 and SEC saying we're going to break off and make a super league. It would make that a lot harder. A lot of things like that, because plus antitrust protections for the NCAA, which is a big thing for them. I think it's even though it's a bipartisan bill, I still think it's going to be tough for this to go through. I have it at 50-50 at this point, so it's worth keeping tabs on. They've gone through, I forgot what the exact term is. There's like this process that I guess a bill goes through
Committee.
Where, they throw it out and then they make changes to it. And then from there it gets presented. It's headed to the Senate. People know how it works. If it passes that, it's going to go to the House. I put it 50-50, it gets through. So it's worth keeping tabs on. At the end of the day, it's frustrating, one, because there's more important things I think politicians should be working on. This seems like something where, if anybody ever heard of the Save Video Games Act or whatever over in the EU, one of the big proponents of it, by someone who was pushing it, said that politicians like easy wins because it makes them look good. And this seems like politicians trying to get an easy win outside of the serious problems over in college football to get some goodwill, in my opinion. When at the end of the day, if the NCAA would just go and sit at a table with the players and, like the NFL, create a collective bargaining agreement, all their problems go away. Do you want to know why, if a player gets caught for gambling in the NFL, why the NFL can hand down a punishment and there's no going to court to get an injunction? Because they have a collective bargaining agreement which says, you've agreed to this. You've agreed to these rules, so you can't challenge us on them. If they just had that, this wouldn't be a problem. But they don't want to if they did that, it would make the players employees, and they don't want to do that.
If anyone introduces a bill in any level of government that has the term video game in the title, I think I'd discredit them as an adult politician. What do you like? You're a politician. What are you doing spending your time even thinking about video games?
That bill, in short, was just to say that when you buy a game, you should own it forever. So it forces online service games to leave, even when they stop supporting the game, to leave it in some sort of single player playable state.
Let's move on to more fun things to talk about than Ted Cruz. Mike,
BTK
who are the big...
Zodiac? Sorry, Zodiac.
There you go. Get his fucking credentials right. Who are the big players in the spring transfer portal? And now, this can be either players or the teams. Stop losing your headphone.
So just to clarify, there is no spring transfer portal.
Did they drop down to one transfer portal?
They did, yeah. That was a change last year. So all we had was the winter transfer portal.
I just want to say thank you for pointing that out now instead of
my bad. I thought you just meant like as a recap of the winter portal and just
That's
accidentally
fine.
put spring.
We'll go with the winter portal that everyone heard about 9 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there was a lot of big name QBs in it that were the belle of the balls. Sam Levitt, who ended up going to LSU, Brandon Sorsby, who's now onto the supplemental draft. Drew Mestemaker, who basically was like, before the portal even opened, he was like, yeah, he's following Eric Morris over to Oklahoma State. So that's not really talking conversation. LSU obviously went insane getting a lot of the top players. Princewell, Umanmielen,
The safety.
The Edge, who is the brother of Princely, who's now in the NFL, left Ole Miss to follow Kiffin to LSU. Those were some of the really big names. Obviously, then also Cam Coleman, who jumped in late from Auburn. Not late, but middle of the portal process, jumped in and headed to Texas, and that was a big thing.
Well, I don't even know if you call this off-season moves. So we'll just go with this. Who is going to have the biggest impact on a new team this year? It can either be a recruit or a transfer.
Right. So since the last question was talking about transfers, when I looked at this one, I tried to think of one of the biggest impacts a non-player related offseason move could make. Mm-hmm. And I went with the coaching shakeup in the SEC, but more so the exodus of the best head coaches in the American Conference getting their first jobs in the Power Four, a lot of them in the SEC. John Summerall left Tulane for Florida. Alex Golish left USF for Auburn. Ryan Silverfield left Memphis for Arkansas. All Arkansas fans hated it because they don't watch Group of Six football. So they were just pissed off. And then, as I mentioned, Eric Morris leaves North Texas for Oklahoma State. And then Lane Kiffin, part of the big coaching shakeup in the SEC. I think that's going to have a massive impact because the two big ones I'm really big on are John Summerall. I've been banging his drum. That was I don't like that I did that term.
What part of him is the drum?
I don't know. I've been singing his praises. Since he was at Troy and then went to Tulane, I've been a huge fan of his. And Alex Golish, I also think, is a really good coach, and what he did at USF is something to be given flowers for. Ryan Silverfield, I'm a little shaky on. We'll see how that one goes. Eric Morris to Oklahoma State, I think, is exactly what they needed because the last few years under Mike Gundy, they had one of the most you ever see an offense so bad that when you watch it, it's like a car crash, and you're like, oh God. And Eric Morris, when he was at North Texas, had arguably the best offense in the American. So I think that was exactly what they needed. I think those four. I think that American
about the Group of Six is you can't spell American without I can.
That's true. That is true. And I think those four coaches from the American can make big waves and shake up the Power Four conferences.
But the question, Mike, was what was the move that will have the biggest impact? The move singular.
I'll say if I had to boil it down to one player, I won't stop talking about him. Cam Coleman to Texas gives Arch a 5-star top 10 draft pick, bona fide stud at wide receiver. Mm-hmm. They let Parker Livingstone, who was their leading receiver last year, walk out the door because they knew, hey, we're all in on getting Cam Coleman. Sorry, Parker. Funny enough, he went to Oklahoma, so we can't wait for that revenge game.
Remember how much fun that
Parker
revenge game was last
Livingstone.
year, where both the quarterbacks were terrible?
Yeah. Oh, that was so bad, that game. And so that has a huge impact. The other one I would say like that's on like a bigger scale would
I
be
said
Matt
the
Campbell.
biggest impact. One move.
That was the biggest impact. Can I throw one more out there? Would just be
Hold on.
Matt Campbell.
Stop, what, you wouldn't even let me finish saying hold on before you started saying it.
I refuse to hold on. I don't hold. I play by nobody else's rules but my own.
I was trying to see if there was anywhere else we could fit in Matt Campbell talk, but I guess not.
Yeah, Matt Campbell leaves Iowa State, heads to Penn State to take over for James Franklin, and in doing so is like, hey, I'm going to take practically the entire Ohio State starting roster with me. Sorry about it. So that could make a big change in Penn State having this like really quick turnaround. We'll see. I don't think they can win the Big Ten this year with that, but it could stop them from going into like having a rough couple of years. So we'll see.
Mike, there's been a lot of talk about expanding the college football playoff format again.
Oh, God.
What is the correct playoff format for college football?
So, in my opinion, the correct playoff format is we've already blown past it. They should have went to 8 because there's never a year where you could try to convince me on more than 8 teams have a chance to win the national championship. Even in today's college football landscape, where because of the transfer portal and NIL and rev share, the sport's flattened out some. There's a lot more parity because schools can't just hoard all the best players. Even with that, there's still at most 8 teams you can actually talk me into that are good enough to win a national championship. But we've blown by that with 12. So I will say this, stay at 12. Big problem with college football is drastic changes happening without giving enough thought to it, in my opinion. They did that when they were like, we're at 4, we're going to go to 12. Instead of making that mid jump to 8, stay at 12 until you say, all right, because we've seen over the last 2 years, they've made changes to the 12 and how it works. Wait until you can look back and say, perfection is impossible, but we have as close to perfect as we can with the 12-team format, and then talk about expanding. I will say this, the talk of the 24, I hate it. I hate it more than anything. I think it is stupid. I think it is short-sighted, and I will be super bummed out if that happens because 24 teams getting in is just ridiculous. Half those teams are going to get blown out in the first round. And
I just want to point out, Mike, if we listened to you and stuck with 8, there'd be no Alabama, no Tulane, no Miami in the playoffs.
Correct. The only one you could argue would have been Miami. The thing with Miami that the part of that 8 for it to work would have been, and the ACC did respond to Duke winning their conference and ending up not getting in because of it. And they changed because they had some sort of weird, computer bullshit program that ended up the way it is. Instead of just saying, oh, Miami wins the tiebreaker because they're the highest ranked of these teams that tied. Instead of doing that, they had some weird formula that was dumb. So, but they've changed that now, and that would have been a big part of it because Miami should have been in. They were one of the top 8. But back to 24, it devalues so many aspects of college football when expanding the college football playoff has already devalued a lot of things, in the sense that one of the great things about college football used to be that the national championship was important and it was big. But when looking at all the teams, it wasn't the be all end all, right? Like a lot of times you'd be talking about this school that had a 9-win season. That was a huge turnaround for them and a really good season for them. And you could talk about that and give them a lot of flowers and how big it was. Now, once we're at 12, there's a lot of schools who are like, they didn't make the playoffs, so they suck and we don't even care about it. It's just all about the playoff and the national championship. And, the one coach, I know I'm going long on this part, but the one coach who I love,
an understatement.
is last thing I'll say. The one coach I love was Mike Elko, who got asked about it, and he said, selfishly, I'd love a 24-team playoff because A&M would get in every year. He was like, it would give me great job security. He said, and I think that a lot of the coaches who support it, that's what they're thinking. But at some point, we need to stop being selfish when we think about it and look at the overall effect it has on the game. And I was, fuck yeah, Mike Elko. Fuck yeah.
All right. So what we learned from that is that Mike hates when Miami makes the playoff.
Yeah.
He thinks that teams that win 9 games deserve participation trophies. And he thinks that Texas A&M should be in the playoff. All right, Mike. Last pseudo business question I had here for you, just something that I've been curious about personally. Why is college powerhouse Alabama recruiting so goddamn poorly this year?
See, I don't think. I mean, in 2026, they finished with like the third ranked per 247's rankings. They finished with like the third ranked recruiting class. Mm-hmm. Early on in 2027, they're not doing great. I think they're like at 67th right now.
Yeah, but that's like the huge fall off here is that they finished with the third, had some would say disappointing season, and now standards. They have fallen off big style.
Yeah, I mean, one of those players so far is a 5-star QB in Elijah Haven, who's the third-ranked QB. However, I will say, when you look at the great year they had in 2026, you could say that. I mean, people have to remember that college football programs, their scouting department hits the ground running on some players like years in advance. You know, you start working towards them, talking, schmoozing their parents and the player. So you could say that we've seen the last of the Saban era vestiges, like the work that team put in, kind of start to that's done. And now we're going into the Kalen DeBoer, which one of the questions with Kalen DeBoer was how well he could recruit, because he wasn't a stellar recruiter at Washington. He did well in the transfer portal, and he did solid, but not like Alabama level of recruiting. So that was one of the concerns with him. So this is a thing I'd say to keep an eye on. If as the year goes on, we see it turn around, and it's like, all right, it's fine. If it stays like this, that's something that won't be talked about in Kalen DeBoer's when they review like how well they think he's doing at his job. People will focus on like on the field, final record, you make the playoffs, do you get close to a natty, stuff like that. Alabama won't put up with poor recruiting classes because under Nick Saban, who he was not a big transfer portal guy, he did break down and use it to his advantage because Saban was always smart about being like, hey, I don't support this idea and I think it sucks, but it will help me win, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. But on the counter side, Saban was always like, yeah, but I'm also going to have a stellar recruiting class, so we'll be fine.
Yep. Currently, according to your beloved 247, they have the 68th ranked recruiting class.
Okay. Yeah. So,
which is behind such powerhouses as Texas State, South Florida, Washington State.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of quality and also a little bit of quantity. They haven't really gotten a lot of crapload of commits. I think they're at 13 when I checked total. 9 total players. Yeah, so that's a big problem there. If they start getting more people, then that could change. But I mean, I will say, to be fair, we're looking at June. I don't know what month are we in? June. And so they should be farther along in their progress than they are now. So it's definitely worth like alarm bells and to keep an eye on.
Yeah, it's something when I was looking through, when I was doing research for these questions, I saw I was looking through the recruiting rankings, probably when I should have been Googling spring transfer portal. And just I kept scrolling, trying to find Alabama because I assumed they'd be near the top. And they were not.
Yeah.
They were not. And that was quite surprising to me, Mike. Quite surprising. They have one 5-star recruit so far.
Yeah, that QB I mentioned.
I think that their 5-star recruit is a lineman, isn't it? Nope, it is QB. You're right.
Nope.
You're right.
Yeah, it's Elijah Haven, who not only the number 3 ranked QB, but the number 1 player in the state of Louisiana. So
it's good for him.
Just Mike, walked into Lane Kiffin's territory.
That's all the business questions I got for you. Let's move on and talk about the season, the thing that people came here to see.
Yeah.
And let's start with this. We're dipping our feet in. We're wading into the water. What are the notable rule changes this year?
So I'd say the biggest one that we'll probably notice a lot is the change to targeting, which is always a constantly talked about and controversial rule. So they've changed it to like a little bit similar to how the NBA deals with flagrant fouls, in the fact that it is a
So it's going to take a 5-minute review.
No, well, it's still targeting always takes a forever review. So that's true. But there's like a accumulating process. Mm-hmm. So no longer can a player have one targeting penalty and get kicked out for the whole game. Now they're focusing on like repeat offenders. So there's, you get one targeting, then, it's just a penalty, but that targeting goes on your record. You get 2 targeting penalties, you're going to miss the first half of the next game. You get 3, then you're going to miss your entire next game. So they're trying to take
out. This game is so weird.
Well, that's what happened to Miami that hurt him in the national playoff. I think it was Keon Scott, I believe it was, got a targeting late in the previous game, and it kicked him out of the game, but also knocked him out for the first half of the next game. And it definitely showed up because that was a big hit to their secondary. I think what they're trying to do is saying, hey, this targeting penalty, instead of kicking these players out for this whole game right now and it massively affecting this game, let's punish them going forward. So that's the one big difference. Like I mentioned the NBA, but NBA still has like, hey, you're out for the rest of this game. But it is similar in the way that the NBA tracks like flagrant 1, right? That's the not as bad flagrant, right?
That means unintentional, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of the way they do the flagrant 1, where if you get 3 of those, then eventually it adds up and you get knocked out, you're out for a game.
I believe the way that it works in the NBA is once you get 2 of them, they will never call another one on Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Other than that, they changed like the passer interference penalty from 15 yards to 10, which it's kind of crazy because players are already told like, hey, if you get beat, just smack the shit out of the receiver because we'll take the 15-yard penalty because it's not. Touchdown. Yeah, it's not spot. It's not a spot foul. So now you go down to 10, and it's even less of a penalty. So I think that's kind of interesting. I don't know why they did that. And the other one was
interference.
Yeah, PI.
Okay.
And the other one ways? Was
like, did it affect an OPI in any way, or did they not call OPI?
No, that's a good question. They do call OPI.
Are you sure?
Yeah, usually mostly on like a pick play. Or a rub route, as offensive coordinators call it.
Can we rename our website to the rub route?
The rub route? That's a good one. That is what it is. I'm sorry. Offensive pass interference is reduced to a 10-yard penalty. I apologize. That's what it is.
Pass interference should be a 15-yard penalty?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. It's 5 yards in the NFL.
Yeah. And then the other thing, which I don't know how often we'll see this one come into play, is going to be that they changed punting formations. The snapper and the 2 adjacent players are considered ineligible. I meant to go back and watch where'd you go?
Yeah, just keep
I
talking.
miss you so. Okay. I meant to go back and watch the weird USC play last year that really caused all this. But I forgot to. I think there was a player wearing a different jersey. Yeah, it was something like that. And then after they scored a touchdown on this play, or picked up a first down, afterwards, college football officials were like, oh, yeah, that shouldn't have been allowed. And so now to avoid that confusion, they made some changes to the punting formations. But those are the only big things that changed in the rules this year. Targeting one, obviously, being the biggest thing.
So the last thing I heard you say is you meant to go back and watch the USC play.
Oh, yeah. There was a weird USC punt last year, which I forgot to go back and look at. I think there was like a player wearing a different jersey. I don't know. Point being is after it happened, I believe like officials said, oh, yeah, that shouldn't have been allowed to happen. So now they've made these punting changes to try to, I think, avoid confusion on that and let it happen again. But I don't think we'll with my point being is like with targeting, that's going to come up more often, that rule change, where the announcers will have to be like, as you remember, they've changed the rules. Before it used to be. But I think the punting one, no one's going to even notice.
All right. Luckily, I think we're hitting our stride in this podcast where a few of these answers are going to be faster.
Yeah.
Mike, 2026, 2027, college football season, the season of champions. Who is the favorite to win the national championship?
The favorite right now per betting odds, Ohio State is plus 550, which I get it. Offense is going to be very good this year. Not only they have Julian Sand returning, who had, as the year went on, turned into a stellar QB. Jeremiah Smith's the greatest wide receiver in college football. They also once again crushed it and got like the best like high school receiver in Travis Henry.
Travis Henry.
Or is it Chris Henry? I think his dad's Travis. Point being, they're expected to have a great offense again, and Sands gonna have a lot of weapons.
You know what I didn't know? Dylan Harper is the son of an NBA player.
Yeah. Sorry, it's Chris Henry Jr. That's what it was.
I found that out like live on a podcast.
Dylan Harper is what?
The son of an NBA player. He's the son of Ron Harper.
Oh, wow.
And
that's why he'd be hooping.
The cousin of Ron Harper, no, the nephew of Ron Harper Jr.
Mm-hmm. But I think, and sorry, and they have some other wide receivers who are expected to step up and take a bigger role. But I think as the year goes on, Chris Henry Jr., not former Tennessee Titans running back Travis Henry, is going to have an impact and kind of move up and become the number 2 next to Jeremiah Smith.
Now, can I ask you a question? You've mentioned there that he is not the former Tennessee Titans running back Travis Henry. Is he the former Tennessee Titans running back Chris Johnson?
No, he's not.
Okay.
That's a good point. We should clarify.
Yeah. Mike, now you've told us who the favorite is. Who should be the favorite?
Adam, I don't.
Don't say it. Don't say it. We're going to have a fight if you say it.
I think it should be Texas.
You know what? That wasn't who I thought you were going to say that was going to cause the fight, but I still think we should have a fight for you saying Texas.
You thought I was going to say Notre Dame.
I thought you were going to say Notre Dame.
I like that's the answer that first came to mind, but I'm trying not to be a homer on this. And so I do think Texas, Arch Manning,
back?
Rough. What? They might be back. Arch Manning has a rough start to the year. As the year went on, we started to see more Arch Manningness, what we expected from him. They go out, they get him weapons, running back Hollywood Smothers out of NC State in the portal. Obviously, the aforementioned Cam Coleman.
Smothers.
Great name, right?
Is his real name Hollywood?
Their offense, I think, is going to be humming better than last year, as long as the offensive line's improved, because that was the biggest problem last year.
What is going on here? What is going on in this world, Mike?
What do you mean?
His name is Daylon Smothers. His nickname is Hollywood.
Well, that's lame.
He is also not from Hollywood. Why do we have 2 people nicknamed Hollywood, not from Hollywood, California?
I don't know, man. Defense. I don't know. Is he from Hollywood, Florida, at least?
No. He's from North Carolina. North Kakalaki.
I think people in school were like, Daylon, what a dumb name. And then he became like one of the best players on his college football team. And he was like, call me Hollywood. And no one questioned it.
He's also somehow an inch taller than NFL Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, there you
go. Does that mean he officially gets the nickname?
He does. He gets to T-pose on Hollywood Brown. Say my nickname now.
I like how when you do just the upper half of T-posing, it looks like you're doing an airplane. Like
or like
Eugene going
like
out
I'm
to
about
the
to
ring.
like Naruto run. Yeah.
You seen the Vinny Jr. commercial for AirPods where he does the Naruto run?
I don't.
Do you have any idea who Vinny Jr. is? You been watching any World Cup, Mike?
No.
Not announced?
I'll once it gets to like the elimination stage, I'll watch.
USA 2-0.
USA 2-0. So offensively, they're going to be a lot better. Talking about the Longhorns, and then defensively, I think they're going to be good once again. Colin Simmons, the edge rusher, is one of my favorite players in this upcoming draft class, and I think he's going to be a stud, continue to crush it. So I think Texas should be the favorite. Ohio State, I get it. My biggest worry with them is, like, last year, everybody was like, "Whoa, look what they lost," and I was against that, and I was like, okay, they lost this. Look at the amount of snaps A, B, and C took, who were like the backup guys. Look at the handful of dudes who are coming back, Caleb Downs, etc. This is the year where I'm now a little bit like, ooh, they lost some guys on defense.
Yeah, they lost
in their
Arvell
secondary,
Reese and the Styles twins, right?
Yeah, they lost Arvell Reese, Styles. They lost Jordan Hancock, haha, funny name, terrible Will Smith movie. And they lost, obviously, Caleb Downs, who was like one of the best players in all of college football last year.
You can't say haha, funny name for Hancock because of the Will Smith movie when the names aren't the same.
Hancock. That's true. The movie's Hancock.
The movie's Hancock, but his first name's not Jordan. It'd be like if you
The
just said,
working
"Ha ha,
title-
funny name,"
the
like the
working
guy that
title is
signed the
Jordan
Declaration of
Pocock.
Independence.
That's true.
Mike, who's the most overrated team? Might I give you some gambling odds here for national champion?
Yeah, I haven't pulled up right here.
Might I give you them anyway so I have something to do on this podcast?
Sure, go for it.
Number 1, Ohio State at 11-2. Number 2, Notre Dame at 13-2. Number 3, Texas at 15-2. Oregon at 8-1. Georgia at 17-2. Indiana at 17-2. And I'll say Miami, Florida, as it's listed here, so you don't think of Miami of Ohio, has the 7th best odds. But Miami, the runners-up at plus 1,200. And then a group of 20-1s, Texas A&M and Texas Tech, who are both known for wanting to cheat, apparently.
So, one, I will say, I hate to say this because they have a track record. They're coming off back-to-back conference championships. So it's like, Mike, what are you talking about? Georgia hasn't been a sexy team for me when it comes to their player acquisition. They're not crazy about the portal. I mean, it's Kirby Smart. He's always going to find a way with the team he has. He's arguably the best coach in college football. I guess you could say my boy Kurt Signetti right now based off recent, but from like a long-term success, I mean, Kirby Smart's just on a different level.
And, I mean, he still has Stetson Bennett.
Close. He has Gunnar Stockton, which it's like, it just sounds like a Georgia quarterback who actually I think performed pretty well last year, but I think he does have a ceiling. Like I don't see him as a future NFL starting QB. But I just don't think that's a sexy team this year. They're obviously not going to have like a losing record or anything. Couldn't see them losing more than 3 games. Who knows? Maybe they end up winning the SEC again. I look like an idiot. But they did that both last year and then just got knocked out kind of unceremoniously in the playoffs. So I just, as a national championship winner, I'm skeptical. I'm going to throw one more in there farther down the list and say Texas Tech. They should be able to win the Big 12. Despite their transfer portal power, because their money, their recruiting power, they lost dudes on that defense, man.
They lost dudes?
They lost Lee Hunter. They lose David Bailey. And one of the biggest ones, I think, that's going to show its head. Call me crazy, because God forbid it's a Mike linebacker. They're terrible, not important anymore. Dude, Jacob Rodriguez was the best linebacker, QBing that defense in all of college football last year, and that's going to be a huge loss in my opinion. So I'm kind of skeptical on Texas Tech too. They should be able to win the Big 12. No, I said Texas Tech is what I was talking about.
Okay, because you were talking about all the people that left Texas A&M.
No, I'm talking about people that left Texas Tech. Lee Hunter.
David Bailey? David Bailey left Texas Tech.
He did.
David Bailey was at A&M.
No, David Bailey was at Texas Tech. Why are you arguing with me on this?
He was at Texas Tech. You're right.
And so was Lee Hunter and aforementioned Jacob Rodriguez. So I think they can fill holes to keep that defense going, but to fill the level of play they got out of some of those guys is going to be tough.
So I just want to pull this up real quick. Texas Tech current regular season over/under win total 10.5. You taking the over, the under there?
God, that schedule is just a cakewalk, brother. I mean, there's a world where their week 3 game against Houston, which I believe is on the road, might be like their hardest game of the season.
And they have to go all the way to Houston, though, Mike.
Because I gotta double check. I think
how many time zones away from them is that?
It might be the same time zone. Texas is a big state, though. You never know.
I think all of Texas is Central Time, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because they dodge BYU and Utah. The other 2 teams people would probably say could win the Big 12. They dodge both of them. So if they 11 wins should be possible for them, unless they lose the Houston game. I see no other team here that could push. Or they're at Oklahoma November 14th. That one maybe if Eric Morris turns Oklahoma State around in 1 year and catches Texas Tech. Maybe, but yeah, I'd take the over.
And then your other overrated team, the fighting Carson Becks. Georgia, over under 9.5 wins.
So this is a crazy thing. If you go through the SEC and look at all the teams over unders, you'd be like, oh, that's like a game lower than I'd expect. That's because the SEC is finally being a big boy like the rest of the conferences, and they're playing 9 conference games this year.
Okay.
Instead of 8. So that has a big effect on it. 9.5. They're at Bama. That I think could be a loss. At Ole Miss. Not an easy schedule. If in order to stick to my priors and my opinion on Georgia, I gotta say take the under. They go 9-3.
They have better odds to win the conference than Texas does. Fun fact.
Wrong.
Actually, they're tied in the odds to win the conference, but they're currently the juice is on the over for Georgia, and it's on the under for Texas Tech, despite them both, or Texas Tech, just Texas.
And your Texas is confused today.
It is very confusing. There's a lot of Texas.
Your Texas.
Despite them both being at 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, speaking of the postseason in college football, can Indiana repeat as champions?
Okay, well that was just confusing because you wrote Miami in the.
Well, I corrected it in my document. I don't know what to tell you.
Correct it in mine.
How would Miami
asshole
repeat, Mike? Repeat what?
I thought you meant like getting
the national
I thought
title?
You meant like getting back to the national championship game, and I was like,
why do you think I am so infallible? During this podcast so far, you have not corrected me about the spring transfer portal not existing, and about the team that didn't win the national championship making it back. And then in between those two things, I yelled about how David Bailey was at Texas A&M for like 45 seconds.
Fair point. So talking about Indiana, smoke them if you got them. Kurt Signetti.
I like how you pantomime throwing the cigarette away. Like you didn't just smoke it, and then that's the end of the pantomime. You had to finish the cigarette and throw it away. It'd be great if you did it for like 2.5 minutes, just taking a puff, looking off into the distance.
Signetti's a great coach. I don't think they can repeat as national championships. National championships? I don't think they could go. I don't think they could go and get back-to-back ships. They lost a lot. I mean, Signetti's done really well in recruiting and more so the transfer portal with his mentality of production over potential a lot when it comes to transfer prospects. Take guys who have this proven production that can come in and help us. Mm-hmm. Josh Hoover, the QB from TCU, I think will do well. I don't think he will do Mendoza levels of well, which isn't really a fair thing to say considering Mendoza won the Heisman. That's not really a hot take to be like, I don't think this guy's going to win the Heisman next year.
Are you telling me you don't think that Josh Hoover is going to go number 1 overall? I
don't think so. They did get one of the best. I already mentioned Hollywood Smothers, but they also got one of the best named running backs in the portal in Turbo Richard from Boston College. You want to let me know if his real name's Turbo?
I'm sure it's not, but I'll look it up.
Okay. So I think
his real first name's Hollywood.
Wow, what are the chances?
Here's the thing you need to know about Turbo Richard, Mike, is that he's not even famous enough to have a Wikipedia page.
Damn, Turbo. Here, let me look at his 247. Let's see if
I'm pulling it up. Fucking calm your dick off.
247 likes to do the nicknames. Yeah, Turbo. Yeah, athletic background. Turbo Richard is a running back from Rock Hill, South Carolina.
I guess we'll find out when he's famous enough to have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah. But still, like, I don't think they can repeat as national champion. I think they'll be competitive. Probably the number 2 team. It'll be either them or Ohio State again, I think, winning the Big Ten, unless Michigan has this really, I don't know, I'm starting to get worried about
Did I lose you or did you fall asleep?
No, I'm having a massive brain fart on Michigan's QB name, though. It's sophomore.
Kirk Cousins, I believe.
No.
It's, well, now I can't remember.
Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood. I kept wanting to say Bryce Young. I was like, that's definitely not it. I'm starting to get a little concerned about how well he's going to do, and just Michigan's not in a great place with everything that's been going on, in my opinion.
I think geographically, it's in a pretty terrible place.
It's true.
Mike, North Carolina's over-under, when I checked this, was at 5.5. It is now at 4.5. How do you feel about that? That's one of the questions, by the way. That's an official question. Put the stamp on it.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Originally, you asked me over under 5.5.
It's
Well,
different
for funny, let's just go through it. Week 0, TCU. That's an L.
Hold on. Wait.
East
Stop. Don't talk anymore. Did you just say week 0?
Yeah, they do week 0 still.
That's not a week.
It is in college football.
Do you play an extra slate of games?
No, you just get like a second bye. It's like an extra bye. It's week 0. There are only like 6 games happen in the FBS. But anyway, TCU, that's a loss. East Tennessee State, dear God, I hope that's a win. Clemson lost, Notre Dame lost, Pittsburgh lost, Duke lost, Syracuse. I'm a big Fran Brown guy, so I'm going to say loss. Miami lost. UConn lost their starting QB. We'll give that win. Louisville lost. Virginia, I think, is going to suck this year, actually. A big drop-off from last year, so I'll give them that one. NC State, I'm going to say loss. So even if I gave them NC State or the Syracuse games, that would be 4. So, like, yeah, I'm taking under.
Yeah, I had you at 3 and 9 on that list you just gave out.
What is it juiced to on the over-under?
Over. Over is minus 142.
It was probably juiced heavily to the under 5.5, so they moved it.
Yeah, I think the people are saying 4 wins. Mike, who's on your Heisman ballot right now? I assume the Heisman ballot, you turn in 3 names or 5 names?
I think you turn 5? It might turn 3. I don't know. They still haven't given me a ballot for some dumb reason. I keep calling them. I keep calling Heisman Corporation.
Keep calling the Ghostbusters.
I'm like, I'm in the media, goddammit. So, unfortunately, as we know, Heisman's just become a QB award. Sometimes you get the fun.
Non-QB won it 2 years ago.
I know, but for the most part, it's a QB. Sometimes you do get the fun years. Sadly, we still can't get a goddamn defenseman to finish in the top 3. It's disgusting. It's a travesty. Not since my boy
won it 2 years ago.
Who won it 2 years ago?
Travis Hunter.
Oh, okay. Not entirely defenseman, so that doesn't count.
Hey, they sure drafted him like he played both.
Yeah, so there's like outside of I'll give you my ballot 1 sec. I'll say outside of that, there's some wide receivers I would love to put on my like top 3 ballot. Unfortunately, they're tied to QBs who are also very high in the odds boards, and that's the problem with wide receiver is usually for them to go off. The other might, your only hope is that the other like isn't like it doesn't do great overall, but just fed the shit out of you, and you have a massive percentage of his production. So still, it's not gonna be sexy. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Arch. Why? God, just let me give up on them. I'm gonna say Arch. CJ Carr, I think, is gonna have a phenomenal year for Notre Dame, especially his schedule is not crazy hard, so he should be able to puff up the numbers. I guess the only worry with him is that he only plays 3 quarters in most of his games. And he might well, they got the A&M game. Or they have the A&M game could be his like premier performance against the top team, so that could help him.
I just like this Nepo Baby versus Nepo Baby. Yeah,
and then I'm split between 2 names out of the Big Ten, being Dante Moore and Julian Sand. Mm-hmm. Probably be one of them I'd go with. I'll say Julian Sand because I like his wide receiver group better. And then as a sleeper, let's keep an eye on Jordan Maeva at a USC. That offense could be explosive this year.
Jordan Maeva currently 27-1.
Yeah,
tied with Sam Levitt. Mm-hmm. According to the odds, CJ Carr currently the front runner, plus 750. Arch Manning number 2 at 8-1. Darian Mensah 11-1, tied with Trinidad Sham Bliss. Then Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sand are both 13-1, which is the odds makers going. Ohio State will be good.
Shit.
What's my next thing here? Mike, give me the freshmen to watch. Who are the freshmen to watch? Who should I get my peepers out of their stockings for to watch these freshmen?
Well, I already mentioned Chris Henry Jr. at Ohio State, so keep an eye on him. Going on down to Tuscaloosa, they're going to be starting redshirt freshman Keelan Russell. They're one of their big gets from the 2025 recruiting class. There's a world. He's got some guys to work with. Obviously, he has Ryan Williams. Like if Ryan Williams has a bounce back year because he struggled last year. If Ryan, I guess full name Ryan Coleman Williams, bounces back and doesn't drop as many balls, Keon Russell could cook, and he also has the mobile aspect to him, which they're probably really going to need on account of them once again probably not having a great running game. So
they could really use
those are a couple
Chris Farley
big
Jr.
names. Also, Faison Brandon, QB out of Tennessee. I'm not positive he's going to start yet, but keep an eye on him if he ends up starting. 5-star QB. He was like third in the 2026 recruiting class. The big part of that is that Joey Aguilar obviously lost his attempt to get an injunction for one more year of eligibility. NCAA, gotta win, brother.
Is the most annoying thing about being a college football fan the amount of times per year you hear the word injunction?
Gee, that's like all off season. Suing, injunctions, Congress.
I don't think I've interacted with an injunction or a lawsuit related to the NFL, NBA, or NHL.
Yeah.
Mike, what's the best conference in the Power Four? I guess it'd be the best conference overall, because if they're the best Power Four conference, I doubt that there's going to be like a group of 5 team better than them. Or a group of 5 conference better than them. But what is the best conference in the Power Four? I said it again. What's the best conference? Just tell me the best conference. Just fucking tell me the best conference, Mike.
Sorry, real quick. I was double checking what the scuttlebutt was coming out of spring training. It looks like Jackson Cantwell, the top offensive tackle in that draft class, should start for Miami. So keep an eye out for him too. Miami's had some phenomenal offensive lines. Has done a great job there.
That's Miami.
Going on to the best conference. Yes. The U. Dwayne Johnson. U. More sap.
Go see the Moana live action movie in theaters.
Third leg Greg. Best conference. Well, it's really down to 2. Shocker, shocker. Big
Pac-12.
10 or SEC. I think overall right now, I lean SEC. I think the Big Ten's a little more top heavy. Like they got like the big 3 this year. In in Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana. Then they have like this maybe with like Michigan, Penn State, and USC.
Mm-hmm.
But SEC just has a lot more teams that you think are going to have a good shot at the playoffs, if not the national title. Georgia's obviously getting a lot of love, if not from me. Texas. I'm still a big
David
proponent.
Bailey's alma mater.
Yeah, I know A&M lost a good chunk of really good players. However, they still have their starting QB coming back, and never count out what Mike Elko's able to do, especially on defense.
You know who it was? It's Cassius Howell. That's who was from A&M.
Cassius Howell, yeah. That's what I figured you were thinking of. Yeah, he was A&M.
I was just picturing the logos next to the names, and I was like, there was definitely a defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty close race, but I'm going to lean SEC having a little more of a just a little more betterness.
Where does the ACC rank here?
Oof.
Dude, that's not an official question.
like,
that one doesn't have the stamp.
I know, but still, like, I guess to give it kind of an idea when I was starting to work on my preview articles. So Miami's the favorite to win at -150. The next is SMU at +650. That's a big drop.
Yeah. And Clemson, are they fielding a football team this year?
They are. They're entering some dark days. I think it's going to be a couple more rough seasons, and we'll see if Dabo decides to mutually part ways if it gets bad enough. I just want to say,
I was the guy pounding the Dabo gets canned drum, and you were like, never. He's never going to get fired.
I said he's never going to get fired. It's always going to be mutually part ways.
It's the same thing.
Out of respect.
It's the same fucking thing. No coach has ever said, I think I'm going to move on from one of these elite coaching jobs that's paying me a cushy salary to do what I love.
Yeah.
Mike, what is the best group of 5 school?
Dude, I don't even know, man.
All right, on to the next question. Mike!
Now, like, I was put it this way, with the expansion of like the Pac-12 coming back, so now it's actually group of 6. Usually it would
the Pac-12
I would
didn't even make the power anymore. Pac-12
no, well, because they basically just Washington State and Oregon State, who are the teams without a home, restart the Pac-12 and just take a bunch of like MAC teams or not MAC teams, Midwest teams, and some other big teams. I think they got a couple that are moving up from FCS. At least I think one is for sure. So that kind of like shakes it up a little bit. I honestly couldn't tell you because usually I would hands down just go to the American and pick one of those 4 teams I said: USF, Memphis, North Texas, or Tulane, and they all lost their coaches and a lot of players. So, James Madison, they lost their head coach too. Bob Chesney bounced.
So you gonna give me an answer to this one, or?
Shit. For fun, I'm gonna say, let's go with former Mike Leach school. No, actually, you know what? I'll go with the Beavers. Let's go Oregon State. Probably not going to be true. Fuck it. Let's go Boise. Boise every year somehow fields one of the best teams. I'm going Boise. I'm going to go chalk and say Boise. Bluefield Boise's.
Mike, give me a coach that'll be fired.
Forgot to jot this one down, but I can tell you pretty quickly, I think. The coach that will be fired, I think Bill O'Brien might get axed at Boston College.
No.
Boston College. He's just not a good college football head coach. He keeps trying. He's just not good.
Makes you feel better. He wasn't a very good NFL head coach either.
Yeah, so I think he's going to get axed. And then there's another one, but now it escapes me. I forgot to write down my answers to this one. I apologize.
Well, Bill O'Brien's the answer. Only asked for one coach.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and say Bill O'Brien.
Mike, give me a team that was not a contender. I guess I should phrase this as a question since it's 26 questions about the 2026 NCAA season.
Oh, Dave Aranda at Baylor has to win and put a good record this year. I think he's in trouble. Go ahead.
What's a team that wasn't a contender last year but will be this year?
So are you saying a contender in like preseason expectations kind of?
I don't know. It's kind of vague, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if you're saying that or like, hey, that team didn't make the playoffs, so.
I guess you can't be a contender if you didn't make the playoff.
Yeah, because like then I'd be like Notre Dame, but I'm trying not to be a homer. So I'll say 2 of them. I'll say USC, who I'm surprisingly high on. Mm-hmm. Schedule's not too bad, and they are too scared to play Notre Dame. Very talented QB, like I said. They've started recruiting really well with Lincoln Riley. So I think USC is going to enter the mix. And then as the year went on, this team in no way was considered a contender anymore, but LSU.
Do you think either of those teams make the playoff?
I think USC can make the playoff. Well, I think both of them make the playoffs, yeah.
All right. And then on to our final question about the regular season, or the college football season, Mike. Right now, Ole Miss or LSU? Pick one.
LSU.
All right. Goes to show you, Ole Miss, maybe you shouldn't have chased your coach out of town, telling him he's not allowed to coach in the playoffs.
The money they spent on that team is ridiculous.
Yeah, they did get the best quarterback recruit in Louisiana snatched out from under them. So
they did. They're too busy trying to get Sam Leavitt, who hopefully stays healthy. If he doesn't, then they could be in trouble.
Mike, let's move on to something I care about. The NFL draft.
The draft.
The draft. Once again, I should phrase it as a question. Where does this quarterback class rank in terms of the 2020s classes?
So the big, correct me if I'm wrong, because I forgot to go back and look at each draft class, but the big one that always stands out to me is the Caleb, Drake May, Jaden Daniels class. Yeah. And that's probably the best one since 2020, fair to say?
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah. So the tough thing about so much of this comes into like preseason expectations, and it could easily become not a great one. But I will say Manning, Dante Moore, Julian Sand, if CJ Carr's to go, him are probably like going to be the big 3. Then you remember this guy, Adam, that you wouldn't shut up about, Lenora Sellers?
Mm-hmm. Big Lenora Sellers.
If he has a bounce back, if he has a bounce back year with the with all the tools he has as a QB, people are going to love him. So the big thing is some of the names that are going to be up in the air who will be eligible but might not declare to go could make this a shorter list. So I'll say right now, I'll be conservative and say it ranks right under that 2024 class. By the time it comes draft time, it could be ahead of it.
Now, how do you feel about that versus the 2020 class, which is Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, and Jake Fromm? Well, the Nooch, Ben DiNucci was in it.
So that class had Joe Burrow, who was like certified stud, best
Justin Herbert,
college QB prospects since like the likes of Trevor Lawrence and Andrew
Let's
Luck.
be honest.
I mean, going into the draft.
Let's be honest. First off, Trevor Lawrence was drafted after him, I think. But let's be honest.
Oh, that's
here.
right. So there you go.
Let's be honest.
Since
here.
Andrew Luck.
Joe Burrow was not a great prospect. Joe Burrow was like plussed up Fernando Mendoza. He had one good year, and he turned out to be a good quarterback. That turned out to not be a
he was a big time recruit who went to Ohio State, but the room was too crowded. He transferred, had to sit out his year, went to Ellis. Then he was the QB of literally like one of the best college football teams, particularly offensively of all time.
Listen, I agree. Like he had the one really good year there, but let's not pretend that Joe Burrow coming into that draft was the next fucking Andrew Luck or something.
He was hands down number 1 overall. I don't know what you're talking about.
So was Fernando Mendoza this year.
He was getting Tom Brady comps. I don't know.
Okay, so was Fernando Mendoza. What are we doing? We're gonna go back and claim that Joe Burrow wasn't even considered to be the best player in that class at the time.
One of my favorite random thing, but one of my favorite tweets. This was either after the Knicks won the title or Carolina. I can't remember which one. But a college football guy I follow, I think it was Josh Pate, tweeted out, and he was like, "They couldn't beat 29 LSU." That's like a talking point, as if that's like the greatest college football team of all time. So, but really, like I guess like expectations were people were so like question marking Tua in that one.
Well,
Justin
yeah, but I'm
Herbert,
saying like from what we know about that class now. Do you think this class is better than that class?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, then what about 2024? What we know about 2024 now, do you think this class is better than 2024?
That's a high bar to meet with how well Drake May did. Jaden Williams, Jaden Daniels, what the fuck?
Jesus Christ, Mike.
Unreal rookie year. And then Caleb finally getting the cover of Madden.
Yeah, the top three guys in that class already have playoff wins. I will say after that it is
Bo Nix, Michael Penix is a starter. Bo Nix almost made the Super Bowl. Like, I'm not going to go ahead right now before they've taken a snap in this college football season to try to get a better feel and see, and also find out who's actually declaring. I can't say it's better than that class.
So you would take Arch Manning and Julian Sayin over over Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert.
Yeah. Not over. I don't know if I'd take him over Joe Burrow, but I'd take him over Justin Herbert.
Mike, who is going to be the best player in this draft class?
So we're obviously removing positional value of QB, just saying the best player.
The best player. Just like in 2020, the best player in the draft class was Chase Young and not Joe Burrow.
You wish. I've annoyed listeners talking about this guy, Jeremiah Smith, hands down. He's going to be the highest drafted wide receiver, potentially all time, but if not highest since Calvin Johnson.
Where's Calvin Johnson drafted?
Was he 4th? We'll look this up one time.
Because if he's 4th, then Marvin Harrison Jr. was drafted higher than him, wasn't he? Was Marvin Harrison Jr. 3? And wait, is Travis Hunter a wide receiver or a cornerback? Because he was drafted 2.
No, Calvin Johnson was 2nd overall. So there's really, unless he goes 1, he's not going higher than that. I don't think he's going 1.
Speaking of 1, Mike, who will go number 1 in the draft next April?
Dear God, if he plays like we think he will, it's going to be Arch Manning. Either him or CJ Carr. Or CJ Carr, I'd say. But I don't even know if CJ Carr is going to declare. It's still up in the air. So Arch Manning.
Yeah, I would guess Arch Manning, CJ Carr, Julian Sayin if he's awesome, and then Dante Moore is my ranked 4th. Because I think Dante Moore, so much of the Dante Moore thing is we're projecting what maybe he could turn into.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's nodding for the audio listener.
I mean, there was going to be a Mendoza-Moore argument last year if he declared. I think Mendoza still would have been 1 overall, but there would have been at least an argument up until draft time.
After the playoffs, I think Mendoza would have been 1 overall. I think before the playoffs, there was more of an argument there.
Yeah,
and I will say this. That's a bad sign for future Joe Burrow, Fernando Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, who is going to be the biggest climber in the draft?
So I'm going to go back to two players I've kind of touched on here. And like you look at, they're like still considered like first round draft grades, but maybe not as high as they would have been based on what people thought of them going into the 2025 season. But then they had rough 2025 seasons. And so that's like Ryan Williams, like I said, if he gets back to what he did his freshman year, and then your boy, Lenora Sellers. If he has the year this year like we thought he could have last year, he's going to fly up draft boards when you consider like athleticism, running ability, size, arm strength. Like he has everything that gets NFL scouts to like pop a chubby, you know? It's just like the play was rough last year. But if it bounces back this year, he's going to shoot up and shit, maybe even compete for the number one QB off the board. I can't say for sure, but possible.
I'd love that, obviously, as the Lenora Sellers guy. I watched him play one game and went, this guy's the future. And Mike, who will be, our final question here, who will be the biggest faller in this draft class?
Biggest faller. Who do I have down for that?
Can I throw out some names for you if you don't have anyone down?
Yeah, sure.
How about a little Darian Mensah?
Oh, I think Mensah's going to put up just insane numbers at Miami this year. So I think I could only see him climbing from a point where his production and his play will be so good that NFL programs would start to overlook some of his physical limitations, because I know he's a smaller QB. I love Darian Mensah. I've been a huge fan of him since Tulane.
How about Drew Mestmaker?
I don't think Mestmaker is going to declare. Okay. If he does, I don't know how well he's going to do. If I was his agent, I would say don't. This is a stat QB class. He's really like Eric Morris is his dude, the head coach. I could see Oklahoma State having like a bounce back year, not win Big 12 year, but then Mestmaker be like, yeah, I'm coming back so we can actually go for that Big 12 title. So I don't think he's declaring.
Feels like the real answer is probably Dante Moore, right? If he doesn't dramatically improve or Oregon doesn't reach its same heights that it, didn't really reach last year, he's going to fall from like potentially a top 3 quarterback in this class if he declares, all the way down to, hey, maybe play one more year in college.
Yeah, like even if you just look at like the order the QBs will go, if Dante Moore struggles, a lot of people consider him like 1 or 2 right now. If he struggles, there's guys who are extremely close to him who could jump him. CJ Carr, Lenora Sellers, Julian Sand. If like all 3 of those guys come out, like he could easily, if he fucks up, end up being the 4th or 5th QB off the board, which would just be so embarrassing. Who could imagine still going in probably the first round and having all those other QBs?
Was Josh Allen the 4th QB off the board?
I want to say 3rd.
Okay.
But I don't remember.
Okay. Mike, did you have an answer though? Or we kind of hit all your guys?
I think we kind of hit all the guys. Some of the dudes that you threw out there were pretty good.
Just because I'm seeing this name here, how about a guy I've never heard of before, but he's got a fun name, Trevor Gooseby.
Trevor Gooseby. There's a chance that's a fall because, goddamn, that Texas offensive line sunk that team last year, and if it doesn't improve this year, Gooseby I think will be lumped in to that image, and he will also drop.
Well, Mike, that's all the questions I got for you.
Really?
That's all 26 questions, brother.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
That
went too fast.
8 on business, 13 on the season, and 5 on the draft. we can come back next week and do 26 more questions, but it's the well's really gonna be tapped for me. I don't got a lot of other questions I can pull out.
I could come up with some.
Yeah, you want to do 26 things we missed during the 26 questions segment next week?
Not 26, but I tell you what, we could do a handful. We can do a segment where it says questions Mike wanted to talk about, but Adam didn't put on the list. I'll do like 5.
I got bad news for you, Mike. This is the only time we're talking about college football until the draft.
Start my own college football podcast. It's going to be the Fuck You Adam I Want to Talk College Football podcast.
It's going to do numbers. That's got great SEO.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, you got any plugs?
Just that outside of Jeremiah Smith, Leonard Moore is the 2nd best player in this draft, best quarterback in the country at Notre Dame. Any plugs? Yeah, get ready, dude. First Saturday in July, which would be
the 5th.
July That'd be this next Saturday, not this upcoming one. The next one will be July 4th, is when I'm planning on dropping my first conference preview for the college football 2026 season. Finishing them all up so I can send them to Adam, and you can have them in the Kizan to be able to just pump them out on a weekly basis.
There you go.
We're going to start with the ACC because alphabetically, they start with A.
I thought that you were just really excited to talk about UNC. Also this week, Mike, we're going to have more wrestling predictions for the door
forbidden door
that shall not be opened no matter what, under any circumstance, which I have a bone to pick because why is that door forbidden?
People keep going through it. It's not really forbidden anymore.
Yeah, it's like it's a fucking turnstile at this point.
I'm guessing they focus grouped door as a pay-per-view name. People were crazy about it.
Coming this June to AEW, $59.99. AEW's door. So we'll have our predictions for that as part of our year-long prediction contest to see who's better at knowing ball when it comes to mostly naked men being all sweaty and rubbing themselves on each other.
Mm-hmm.
We have our pseudo-official off-season schedule, where we'll be back next week to probably do basically the same gimmick, but for the NFL. We'll be talking some NFL off-season football as we go through and get ready for the season to spool up. At some point, we'll have Tyler Carr of the podcast on here to do some more NFL talk. We'll be back to do a little bit more hockey. We haven't really nailed down what we're going to do for the hockey of it all, but we do need to talk some off-season hockey for Baskey. And, of course, we'll be back for an emergency podcast whenever the fuck Giannis gets traded, unless it happens in the next, 3 hours. But with all that podcast talk aside, Mike, as we are back, Town Alone podcast, only one thing left to do here. And I think by your face, you think that I'm about to say Prospect Wordle, which I'm not. It's just going to be...
No, I thought... I was just thinking of that. I get to do a shout-out again. It's been a while.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure. Mike, on the way out the door here, you want to give a shout-out to any players on Texas Tech?
Shout out Will Hambone Hammond.
Is that actually a guy on Texas Tech, or did you just have that one up and decide to steamroll?
They're starting QB, Adam. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I really got thrown by Hambone.
Hambone.